Hi, I'm Valerie Lawrence. I'm a registered dietitian and I cover clinical at Valor Health. I also work private practice in Emmett, and I'm here with Beth Sutton. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I work at Valor Health. I'm a registered nurse. I'm also the employee health manager and infection preventionist.
Great, thanks. Okay, so we're here today to talk about some sides for Thanksgiving and Christmas that you could use that won't that still add flavor but won't add inches to your waist, or are more in line with a healthy way to eat. So today we're starting with broccoli and grape salad. I don't know if those sound like they go together very well, but they actually do. It's a yummy recipe and I'm gonna be fixing that. So I will start with cutting some broccoli, and I'm missing a knife, so I'm gonna just grab one here.
Is this a salad you've made before for the holidays?
Yeah, I actually have one that's a slightly different recipe, and it calls for cheddar cheese, like a cup of it. So I liked this recipe better because it doesn't use that much, and it uses a little bit of mayonnaise. In fact, we could talk about that. So there's red grapes in this, some mayonnaise, honey, and apple cider vinegar, yogurt, and slivered almonds. Also broccoli, since it's a broccoli grape salad. And yeah, so all of these ingredients go together to make a pretty side dish, and it's also a complement to the dinner, whatever you're having.
So you're using raw broccoli, it looks like, for this recipe. Would you cook it, or do you usually serve it raw like this?
Well, the recipe actually calls for it to be blanched, and I chose not to do that. It's only to bring out the brightness. It doesn't increase the nutrients. It actually decreases the nutrients. And so the broccoli is a superstar among vegetables because it's got this really neat ingredient called sulforaphane, and it is activated by cutting, and not just when it's whole or like it's lost in cooking a little bit. So your very best is to have it raw.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Is broccoli high in other nutrients like fiber or vitamins?
It has fiber. It's a pretty good for protein also, and it has, of course, vitamin K and lots of vitamin C and potassium.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
This is a healthy side dish for the holidays then.
Right, and it's not like everything you want to be healthy at the holidays. Sometimes people like to have the once in a while treats, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be everything on your plate, the once in a while treat, right?
So it looks like you're using the whole stem and every part of this broccoli. It's okay to use the stems in this recipe?
Yeah, in fact, I forgot to peel this one, but I did peel the one in here, and that just makes it a little more tender, but nobody will notice. And I think if you're paying for the whole head of broccoli, you should use it. It stretches the serving size, and it also, it tastes just like the rest of the broccoli. So there's no reason you shouldn't. My cutting board's a little bit short of what I need for space. I'm dropping it all over the floor. So, okay, I'm gonna put this in. And then the next thing we're gonna do is put the grapes in. And then
you can use any kind of grape for this recipe, or do you have a favorite?
Well, I think these are especially nice. Albertsons had them on sale for 88 cents. I had green grapes in my refrigerator, but I chose not to use them because there wouldn't be enough contrast in color. So it makes a pretty contrast. It's also sweet and juicy instead of the crunchy from the broccoli, which is a nice variance. Okay, so
the next on the list is, it says a red onion, half a cup of chopped red onion, but it looks like you're using something different.
Yeah, again, I'm using what I had. And so I think that's one of the things about cooking, that sometimes people get hung up on ingredients, that it has to be exactly what it's called for. But I really enjoy not going to the store for one or two ingredients. And so since I had shallot And I had 3 green onions. That kind of does the same purpose, or it does exactly the same purpose as having a red onion. It's adding a little bit of that onion flavor and a little bit of the color. The green onion's gonna blend in with my broccoli, but I don't care very much about that.
So shallots taste just like an onion? Is the same family?
Yep, same family. They're just fancy. They were over at the farmer's market, and I was so glad to see them because you hardly ever find them. And the farmer's market ended a couple of weeks ago, so we'll have to do without that. But you have something that you do for fresh vegetables all through the season, don't you?
I do. It's kind of a lazy hack of mine. I like to order some vegetables through the mail, and it gets delivered to my home, which is nice because I live a little ways out of town, so it's a nice option to have vegetables delivered right to me.
Yeah, and I think it'd be okay for you to say what that was.
Okay. Well, I use a company called Misfit Market, and they have mostly organic vegetables and then some things that are non-organic, but there's tons of things you can choose from. They have not only vegetables, but pantry items that you can order as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, I like that. And then it's kind of exciting, like you don't really know what you're getting, right?
Well, you can choose.
You
yeah,
do?
but I think they have a mystery box too. I've never tried that, but
okay.
It might be fun.
A little too mysterious.
Okay, what are you gonna do now?
So we'll make the dressing.
Okay.
So I'm putting in, I used 2% yogurt. It's Greek yogurt. And you could use the 4 or 3.5% also. It's still low fat. It's still way lower fat than using straight mayonnaise, which is what other recipes do call for. This is just 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. And then what else do we have in there?
There is some apple cider vinegar and some honey.
Okay, and honey. What am I going to get that out with? There we go.
And then some salt and pepper, I think, is all that's in the sauce.
Well, that honey likes to stick, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to wipe my hands here for 1 second. And I'm going to say, what am I looking for? Pepper and
yes.
Okay, so I just do this for a little bit until I feel like that's good. So you could add more or less pepper, and you know, for all the salt that I had around, I don't have any right here. Here we go. And it's a teaspoon, half a teaspoon?
Half a teaspoon.
Okay, so I'm going to say that's about good. And stir that.
Well, that looks good.
Well, I think it'll be really nice. Yeah. Oh, the slivered almonds go in last, probably.
Yes. The recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of toasted sliced almonds.
Okay. So yeah, and you could use slivered, which are thin. You could use the these. What did I say? Sliced, which are super thin, or these what am I trying to say? Slivered? Slivered. You could use slivered ones, and you're supposed to toast them, but we did not toast them, and you don't have to. You could use any nut you had. If you wanted to use walnuts or pecans or anything, thank you for anticipating my need. So walnuts, pecans, anything. If you had whole almonds, you could crack them, you know, like just put them in plastic wrap and smash them with a rolling pin and use them that way. Just use what you have on hand so to keep that the cost down.
That probably adds like a nice crunch at the, like a contrast.
Yeah, a little nutty flavor too. And I have a big bowl, luckily, because this would be all over the place if I didn't. What are some sides you have for Thanksgiving?
Well, I think my family's pretty traditional as far as like mashed potatoes. My mom always makes a corn casserole, which is kind of a family favorite. And green bean casserole. Not very healthy.
Oh, with the fresh green beans and the fresh mushrooms. Yeah, that's the one, huh? No, that's not the classic.
No, not the cream of mushroom soup and the...
No, not that one. Okay, and we'll add the slivered almonds. And so you can see,
Oh, it
you
looks
could
great.
serve it like this, and if they were toasted, you'd have a little contrast with that color too, but that is about it. And it's one more choice people could make that they're not overdoing their waistline or their plate. And this is very filling with the fiber in there. So, you know, a lot of things that we have at Thanksgiving, like the rolls and the turkey, aren't necessarily filling. We could eat a lot of them, but you put some of these things on your plate and then that's going to help.